video. The secret to this site is this, that when you go down to the grid, these letters represent ideas. And for example, this idea is that we want to create a permanent shift in human functionality and make that permanent shift have something to do with people's identity, how they relate, and our culture. Here we say that we'd like to be individually more present, authentic, inclusive, and responsible. This has to do with our motivation, our heart, what we love. This has to do with our soul, you might say our ancient memory, our connection to the original light and the source of all life. We do have our mind in here because clearly we are able to make sense of what we see and what is shown to us when we meditate and as we interact with the environment. And then this S over here represents strength, meaning that we take action. These 4 letters come out of a seminar that we produce called the Identity Seminar. The A stands for affirming there is a power greater than myself, discovering how to love in every situation, learning from resistance, and working together to build a world with a global community that works for the benefit of all life. Now the trick with this grid is that every one of these letters can be clicked through to videos to support the thinking of that letter. So for example, for authentic, when you click it, takes you over here to some videos, being authentic. Brian Swim talking about being authentic. You can watch those videos. When you stop them, you can come back to the grid. If you wanted to talk about maybe learning how to surrender and learn from resistance, here you have some videos about resistance and about the tendency to people to drift and not take action. And again, when you come back to the grid, you're here, or you can go back to the top. Now, the last thing I would like to show you is this. Down to the grid, this has been designed not to have specific wording to it, like the word pair does come out of these 4 letters, but it was just a coincidence. These letters were derived from a team, and it just happens to spell pair, but this is not meant to be a word. Most importantly, if you had an idea of something that you wish to do, let's say you were deciding whether or not to buy an electric car or to ride a bike to work, you can come onto the grid and just come in any angle you want. You can go up like this, you could come across here, you can go backwards like this, you can go from here up and over. Let's just randomly go from the bottom up to the top, just so we have a choice here. I wonder if I should buy a bicycle or an electric car. So now I'm trying to scrub my thinking and my behavior and make it relevant to the context. I'm trying to align and become as wise and loving as the system that produced me. So here we have affirming a power greater. Well, there I did it. I actually acknowledge that there is design and trajectory in the cosmos. I think there's something out there that would be soulful. Maybe there's a communication, and maybe I respond to that with a thing that I call my soul, so I can have a relationship with the cosmos. And then maybe part of my thinking has to be that I should be inclusive and pose no enemy, that I'm actually one with the whole living system, that everything in fact is one, and maybe my behavior will have an effect on the culture, so that perhaps what I do is going to affect how the rest of the system works. So there you go. Spontaneously I went up that way. Let's take another decision. I have had a little hearing loss, and I'm deciding that maybe it's time for me to get a hearing aid. So let's go this way from here down here. We'll just pick a random thing. This is being responsible. So if I'm not able to hear people, then I can't really be helpful to them, and also I might endanger myself because they may not hear a car or a person on a bike or whatever. So to be responsible, I should manage my hearing, and I know that. I can use my mind to relate to that idea. I'm mentally aware of that. I can learn about hearing aids and what's the best one and all that. And then I'm down here and discovering how to love would be for me to say if I'm loving to myself, maybe to my friends, that I would mentally understand that to get a hearing aid would be the responsible thing to do. Let's do one more example. Let's talk about whether or not to run the dishwasher before it's completely full or when it's only when it's full. And I'm going to go from S over here to L, just a little short one. S again is soul. How do I have an instinct that I shouldn't run that dishwasher? Well, I've been educated, but there's some way that I recognize that the system depends upon what I do. So I feel a connection to the living system, and that over here, if I have any resistance and I need to learn from that resistance, that maybe I am a little bit lazy and I can connect the soul instinct to not waste water and notice if I have any resistance and learn from that so I can become more successfully aligned. And I might even then bounce up here and say, now I need to take initiative and use my strength to complete this decision. And strength sometimes requires a little bit of extra work, and I have to know that I have to do that work. So here's the way to use this grid. You can actually close your eyes and just hit on anything here. You can hop over one to the next. You can circle 3 and decide to look into all 3 of those. And actually, if you wanted to on a tough decision, you could look into all 16 of these, make notes even, and then see whether or not it's giving you any insight, and always trying to see how to make your thinking and your behavior relevant to the welfare of the whole living system. Over here on the right, we have some additional videos. I think there's 43 videos on this website. So please enjoy it. It's meant to be kind of light and useful. And then if you do have a question, I encourage you to go down here to the comments form. You can leave notes, you can respond to other people's comments, and certainly if you have any criticism, if there's a mistake, or if you have any questions, leave it here. This is moderated. Nobody gets to see your content until you approve it. And then once it's approved by the webmasters of this site, it goes up live. And then even then, if you don't wish to have it be seen, you can take it down. So anyway, that's the little tour. I'm going to go back up to the top. I'm going to stop the video. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. And thank you for listening.